Welcome back to Fishbone Forensics, the series where we don't just diagnose warehouse problems, we dissect them. In episode 1, we tackled the people side of the product damage equation, training gaps, handling habits, and the human factors that quietly drive shrink. But that was just the first of 6 core categories that we used in our root cause analysis framework. Today, we're going to move into the second category, and that's equipment. Because when product damage keeps showing up, and you've trained your people, enforced your SOPs, and still see crush cases and compromised inventory, it's time to look at how your operation is physically set up. In this episode, we'll break down 3 of the most common equipment-driven contributors to product damage. The first is hard-to-reach locations that require hooks or poles to retrieve items. Useful in a pinch, but they increase the risk of drops, punctures, and impact damage. The next, storage areas that require ladders or step stools, creating not only safety risk for your team, but instability for product during retrieval. And third, layouts that force excessive fingerprinting or replenishments, where too many touches or manual handoffs introduce overhandling, misgrips, or carton fatigue over time. Sometimes it's not the operator, the packaging, or even the process. Sometimes the damage is baked into the layout, the access points, and the physical tools your team is forced to work around. We're here to unpack it today. This is Fishbone Forensics, powered by Syncontext. So let's start with a common workaround that's quietly causing major product damage. Using hooks or poles to retrieve items from high or deep rack positions. Sure, it's quick. Sure, it's significantly better than climbing up the rack, but it also turns your warehouse into a game of high-stakes fishing. Here's the risk. You lose control over the item the moment it starts to fall. The angle of force can tear packaging, puncture product, or knock other items loose. And in worst case scenarios, it leads to a chain reaction. 1 box down becomes 5 boxes that could also fall directly on you. So why does it happen? Usually because pick locations were designed for storage efficiency, not safe accessibility. Here's a pro tip. If you see hooks in use, it's a red flag. Audit your pick face layout. Reslot frequently accessed or damage-prone items to ergonomic, ground-level zones and retire the hooks. Your shrink report will thank you. Next up, step stools, ladders, and elevated picks. Now, ladders aren't inherently bad, but when your team is forced to use them for regular picks, you're adding risk with every reach. What can go wrong? Well, items get dropped from height, balance gets compromised, both human and product. Operators rush the motion to save them, increasing instability. This isn't just a safety concern, it's a direct contributor to product damage, especially for fragile items, liquids, and irregularly shaped packaging. Another pro tip, elevated storage should be just that, storage, not active picking. Use vertical space wisely, but reserve it for slow movers or bulk. Prioritize accessibility for high volume SKUs, and if ladders are in use, make sure there are SOPs for proper handling and two-handed picks. And finally, let's talk about fingerprinting. Too many locations require excessive fingerprinting, increasing risk from overhandling. This happens when your layout or equipment setup forces too many fast-moving items into racks where they are being overhandled. For example, fast-moving items slotted in handstack or case flow racking. This is not only unproductive, but over time, this results in corner crushes, label degradation, and internal damage, especially with electronics, soft goods, or liquids. Excessive handling isn't always obvious. It creeps through in bad flow design, poor slotting, and equipment that doesn't match the handling needs of your SKUs. Here's a pro tip. Analyze fingerprinting and replenishment tasks, especially within your smaller slot types. If your current tech stack does not provide you with accurate reporting for these metrics, it might be time to consider a warehouse optimization system. So what's the bottom line? The physical setup of your operation, the reach zones, the equipment, the access tools, all have a direct impact on how well your product survives its time inside your 4 walls. Don't wait until the packaging is ripped and the damage is logged. Audit what your team is working with. Rebuild for reach, flow, and simplicity. And remember, if your equipment setup is forcing bad behavior, the damage isn't operator error, it's system design fatigue. So let's recap. Product damage doesn't always start with the person at the pick face. Sometimes it starts with the tools we hand them and the layouts we force them to work around. Today, we broke down 3 common equipment-driven causes of product damage. The first, hard-to-reach locations that require risky retrieval methods like hooks. step stools and ladders that introduce instability during elevated picks. And lastly, but certainly not least, excessive fingerprinting caused by layouts that force overhandling. Each one creates friction. Each one chips away at product integrity and productivity. And together, they become silent contributors to shrink, rework, and lost revenue. But here's the good news. Once you see the pattern, you can fix the system, because continuous improvement isn't just about working harder, it's about designing smarter. Now, coming up in our next episode, we'll look at the process side of product damage puzzle, where broken workflows, unclear SOPs, and inefficient handoffs create failure points you don't see until it's too late. Until then, if you found this episode helpful, here's your next move. Be sure to follow Syncontext right here on YouTube and also on LinkedIn for more deep dives, real-world insights, case studies, and the tools to help you lead better, faster, and smarter warehouse operations. And if you want to explore how a warehouse optimization system can help you reduce product damage by ensuring your items are slotted in their most efficient and productive locations, visit www.skustream, that's SKUSTREAM, and book a quick call with our DC optimization team. This has been Fishbone Forensics, powered by Syncontext. From chaos to clarity, one root cause at a time. See you next Friday.